listening to Throw the Podcast, brought to you by ThrowTheX.com, the very best in mediocre wrestling journalism. And now, your hosts, Jay Gunter and Ben Conrad.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Throw the Podcast Smackdown edition. It is me, that same old G, Jay Gunter, coming to you live from Detroit, Michigan. Of course, Ben Conrad is not with me. If you are looking to hear the hype man of Throw the X, go ahead and jump on ThrowTheX.com. His Raw review is up and ready for you. And if you can wait till this weekend, our Throw the Podcast edition will be out. But we are here to talk about SmackDown. And to be kind of honest with you, I wish we were here to talk about Raw. So on Raw, we had a title change. We had a main event change and pretty much an all-around good show. We had the women's titles debut. SmackDown, you really didn't have any of that. SmackDown, we had a segment that was better suited for the Attitude Era that just didn't work at all for me. We had one fantastic match, and that is pretty much it. The fantastic match that I'm talking about is, of course, Andrade Cien Almas, who got his name truncated on this week. He now just goes by Andrade, versus Rey Mysterio. And if you didn't see this match, it was a great watch, and it is probably the only reason to actually watch SmackDown this week. They gave him a lot of time. They went through a couple commercial breaks, and the match in its entirety was great. It was almost a pay-per-view type match. So I highly recommend that you go, and if you are going to watch SmackDown this week, you jump on and you see that. In my opinion, Andrade Cien Almas, now he was always good. Of course, he was a lucha libre or a luchador before he came to the WWE. He wrestled behind a mask in Mexico, but he's always been a really good wrestler. Now, granted, his English isn't that great. Selena Vega is there for him, but I think that you are witnessing the next great Mexican WWE star. Who knows how long Rey Mysterio actually has before he just up and retires. It's not that far away, folks. You're probably seeing his retirement tour as we speak. And I think the WWE did really well in going out and finding his replacement. Andrade Cien Almas is great. He always puts on great matches. If you saw him in NXT, you know this to be true. And for me, this is just further proof. This match was just further proof that this young man has a bright future ahead of him. So he went ahead and picked up the win. Of course, it wasn't without interference from Miss Vega, but still, the match in its entirety, he got to show off his athleticism. He got to show off his moveset. He got to show the fans what they are going to be able to expect from him on a weekly basis. Now, moving on, the segment that I alluded to in the beginning, the one that really didn't work for me, had to do with Mandy Rose and Jimmy Uso. Now, for those of you that have been paying attention the past couple weeks, Mandy Rose has been dropping hints that, you know, she's into Jimmy. And she's been doing this to get under the skin of Naomi, who is Jimmy's real-life wife. In this particular segment, it basically was her waiting in a hotel room, and earlier in the show, she gave Jimmy a key to get in, and she was waiting there in lingerie. This didn't work on any level. First off, Jimmy gets to the hotel, and he has a camera following him, and as he's walking to the room, you know, he's being sly about it. He's checking around corners. He's making sure that nobody notices. And it's really hard to suspend your disbelief when he's doing all this, and yet there is a full camera crew following him. It made zero sense to me. He gets to the hotel room, and he basically tells her, hey, this isn't what I came for. I came to tell you to knock this crap off. And she has a paparazzi camera guy run out of the bathroom, snap a bunch of pictures, and run away. And she basically tells him, hey, I wasn't doing this because I liked you. I was doing this to get in Naomi's head. She had a paparazzi camera guy come in. when there was already a full camera crew in the room filming everything. It ended with, Jimmy was too smart for this, and he actually brought Naomi with him, and they fought a little bit and ran out. But, this was something that you could expect to see in the Attitude Era. This wasn't something that I expected to see nowadays. I get the whole trying to get in Naomi's head, but there's better ways to go about it. Doing a cheap hotel room scene that didn't make any sense, there was no believability there. I just think that they're better than that. That's all I'm really trying to say. Something that was better than that, another, you know what, I'm going to call it a segment because it wasn't really a match. Mustafa Ali was set to face Samoa Joe. And before the match, when Mustafa Ali made his entrance, he was attacked by Samoa Joe. If you have a spare 5 minutes, you need to jump on your DVR or go on YouTube and find this, because it was brutality at its best. I don't know if it was more Mustafa Ali than Joe, but Joe threw him into a ring post twice, and it looked like Mustafa Ali was dead. Like, I am not joking you. If you haven't seen this yet, you need to, because the way that he got thrown into the post, he went completely horizontal with the ground. He hit the post and spun a couple times before falling out. Now, this did a couple things. Number one, it gave Samoa Joe, it gave you that just absolute monster that you like to see out of a guy like this. He had absolutely no compassion for this man. He didn't care about winning the match. He just cared about destroying him. And then Mustafa Ali, it showed you what he's capable of as far as selling. Because I know better. And I still looked at him and I thought, oh my God, he really got injured. Because that's how good it was. That's how well done the actual selling portion of this was. And once again, I highly recommend it. As a matter of fact, when I'm done with this, I might watch it one more time just to see it again. Because it was really, really that good. And besides that, folks, I'm going to be honest with you. That was SmackDown in a nutshell. I mean, okay, so we had a Becky Lynch sighting. They're pushing her feud with Asuka. Billie Kay got involved along with Peyton Royce. They ended up having an impromptu match, both of them. And, they both flashed their signature moves. They both flashed their submissions, but it wasn't really anything to write home about. I mean, did it further the feud? Absolutely. Did it give us anything new like what we saw on Raw? No, it didn't. Can't wait to see that match at the Royal Rumble. It's going to be fun. Another one that's going to be fun is the AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match, which was furthered a little bit. If you watched last week's SmackDown, Daniel Bryan did a crowd segment where he was in the concourse area, and he just basically berated everybody. He threw a hot dog at a plant, not a plant, but a guy that was placed there by WWE. He smacked a cup, out of the hand of another one. This week, we had AJ Styles in the concourse area, and he was just basically throwing a party. He was in there, he set up a table, it was full of, hot dogs and mustard, ketchup, all the fixins for you Southerners, and he just started throwing his merchandise into the crowd, giving everybody a new AJ Styles Phenomenal t-shirt. And Daniel Bryan attacked him out of the crowd. AJ got the better of him, ended up throwing him on the hot dog table. Daniel Bryan was coated in mustard, ketchup, and meat, which I'm sure he was very, very happy with. And, they just basically kind of pushed that one along. Come the Royal Rumble, I'm really excited for this match. I think you're going to see the best out of both these guys, as well as, the Asuka-Becky Lynch match. I think you're going to see a lot of things there. I don't expect Becky Lynch to win this one just because, they're going to set up the feud with Ronda Rousey, and I can't see them putting the championship on Becky Lynch and starting a feud with the other champion. I think they're going to keep those separate. Same thing with AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. I can't see them giving AJ Styles the belt back. I think they're going to let Daniel Bryan run with it until WrestleMania. Royal Rumble is going to be a good one, folks. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, make sure you check us out this weekend. Myself, Ben Conrad, Throw the Podcast. We got some Royal Rumble stuff that we're going to go over. I'm glad that you stuck it out with me. That was your 10-minute SmackDown recap. You can hear this on throwthex.com. You can hear this anywhere that any podcast is played, including Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Google Music, Google Play, Stitcher. Our home is Podbean. And then, of course, make sure you check out all of our past recordings. They can be found on all of those. Make sure you go back and you listen to Ben Conrad's Monday Night Raw review. It is fantastic. And not only that, but Raw was a great show. If you missed it, it is a great opportunity for you to jump on and see what the hell was going on. I want to thank you for being with me these past 10 minutes, and we will talk this weekend.
Thank you for listening to Throw the Podcast. Join us again next week for even more wrestling commentary.